Welcome to EBN TV. My name is Consolata Chibalonza. It's time for Know Your Law. And indeed, as I had promised you earlier on, I told you nitakuwa na wakili, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya who has joined me, on set, and he is here finally, and we'll be talking a lot of things scattered all around, and maybe we can, I think we'll even guzia kidogo on the strike that has just happened and something to do with the labor laws. I don't know. I will ambush him with a little things to one if school fees was indeed well used. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you wakili. Iza karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Reintroduce yourself for the umpteenth time.
Yes, so I'm Iza Ngono. I think I've been here for like 3 or 4 times right now. Chakwa Mwenyeji. So I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Also with some few certificates I've acquired up at Chini. Not from the streets, but genuine certificates.
Well noted.
Yes, I hope we'll have a good discussion.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So I will just get straight into it. We all know the story of Masengeli, who is the acting Inspector General of Police. We know that he has been summoned time without number to appear before the court. Now, this story really interests me in such a way because I thought that the court was the highest authority that we have on the land. So apparently there's somebody who seems to be higher than the court. Tell us, wakili, what's that all about? Mbona mtu anaitwa na koti na anakataa kutokea? Why is it that like that?
Generally, according to the law, according to the constitution, there are several layers to which the law can be acted upon. In this case, we have the judiciary, which has its own directions. The judiciary has summoned someone to appear before it. That's a very serious, for the judiciary to summon you, one ought to appear. Even for a common man, when the judiciary, tomorrow morning while I'm appearing in another court, I receive summons or warrants of arrest or something, I have to appear before that court very fast. Yes, but in Kenya, we have seen people who are above the law. Let's say they're above the law. Yeah. The constitution is meant for the poor people. But as long as you have power, it has been proven that you are above the constitution. And just to mention, in the Masengeli case, it's not something very unique. It has been happening in Kenya. So that this time the media is trying to highlight it, put in the spotlight, because the media is also trying to find every incompetent thing that's happening to government, and it's not a hard thing. Something you just wake up in the morning, walk to the street, and you'll find one mess the government has done. So it's a race on incompetency in the government, and I think everyone is winning in the government. So it doesn't come as a surprise. Just to mention also, this is not the first IG to also refuse to go to court when summoned. We had IG Boynet was called to court severally, did not appear.
And nothing was ever done.
Nothing was ever done. He proceeded to even complete the term as IG. Same to the acting IG. I think he'll be confirmed with all these summons. So it's a circus that the government is enjoying. So we don't expect much.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of the terms that are being used right now. There's the warrant of arrest, and there's the summons by the court. Is there a difference between the two, or it's just the same thing said differently?
So in terms of summons is in the literal meaning. You're being summoned. It's like, just to explain it in common language, at times in the earlier days, the chief will send some village men to go and call you. They literally summon you. They give you a small note, chief atakuhitaji saa 3 asubuhi. So that's a summon. In literal sense, even court can issue summons. So you're being summoned to appear in court at a certain date, at a certain time. So if you disobey the summons by court, when court is calling you to appear before it, because you're saying that your honor is calling you, or your lordship or your lord is calling you to appear in court at a certain time, if you fail to honor those summons, probably 2 or 3 times, at times courts are lenient. They can issue the first summon, the second summon, probably understand you have some illness or some difficulties, or the date is not convenient. You can send someone to inquire for you, take another date for you to appear on the summons. 2 or 3 times the court sees this as a joke. The court then issues a warrant of arrest. That anywhere where you find this guy, the police should take him and bring it to court immediately.
By force now?
Yes. So that's where the warrants of arrest come in. So whenever you're found anywhere by the police officers, they can literally take you to that court. Now they arrest you.
So for somebody as powerful as the Inspector General of Police, the one who's in charge of the person who can take you to court by fire, by force, when he himself cannot attend court or fails to adhere to the warrant of the summons, what happens?
For the case scenario we saw with the previous IGs, the police are seen as people who follow procedure. That's the perception. They should follow procedure,
Yes,
which
it is.
it's clear that they are not. But the procedure indicates that a police with a higher rank should actually, if a police is summoned, if a constable, the person above the constable should arrest that person because of the issue of seniority.
Yeah.
A lower person cannot just come and arrest the IG like a common man.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was a bit surprising when the IG was called upon. It was for the deputy IG to again arrest the IG because of the issues of ranking, because he is the highest person in the national police.
But then, how will the deputy, and yet the deputy is under the IG,
So
who has not even been confirmed yet? Okay,
So that's the biggest issue, because now he is the highest person. It's like the president. There's nothing you can do unless the deputy probably talks to him or something. That's a literal explanation. So in this case, it should be for the IG to take personal responsibility and also show light to the other people by appearing in court or presenting himself. But if he can't, we assume that the juniors should do that.
We saw the other day he sent, if I'm not wrong, I think he sent the DG to go and represent him in court and say something like, I am busy, I am in Wajir solving security matters. Is that okay? Is that allowed?
It's not allowed, actually.
But why did he do it? Under what terms?
That's my biggest worry. Not just by the IG himself, but also the whole entire government, because it seems like we are behaving like we don't know the law. And I believe he has a lot of advisors who are being paid well to advise him correctly, which they are not doing it, which is a sad state of affairs, but it's becoming a common norm. We might not be surprised if it happens next time to the president or the deputy. But from the literal meaning of the summons, you should appear personally to explain. Especially when the court has summoned someone with such status. And it was a very simple summon, quite simple but a bit serious, to explain the abduction of 3 people. This is not a small case. It's not something to joke with, because we assume that these people might have, even right now, they're not alive.
Yeah.
It's
You
possible.
never know.
Yeah, that's common in
Anything
Kenya.
is possible, yeah?
Yes, with the rhetoric that it's a government of no abduction, but it's clear it's happening. The IG should have appeared personally. Especially the court sees it as a slap on its face, because it's not the first time. You know, you have been summoned 6 times.
Imagine.
Then the 7th time you're still sending someone. At least even in the 7 summons, at least once he should have appeared in court.
Please.
Probably even for the first time, let the court give you another date.
Yeah.
But you can't say that for all the 7 times you are in Kenya, not outside Kenya. He's actually in Kenya, roaming around
Mombasa, Wajir.
in the
In fact, I
helicopters.
remember there's one I saw, I think it was the 4th one. He was in Mombasa, and truth be told, if I was asked what he was doing, he decided to bring what is it called, a press conference or a press meeting, a press briefing, and then in the press briefing, this is in a nutshell, this is what he was saying. I'm in Mombasa agricultural show, ensuring it is safe, ensuring that the police do their job. And I was like, whether you are there or not,
Doesn't make a difference.
like, I don't see your importance in that place. So kama kungekuwa na ASK, the agricultural show of Kenya, ya Nairobi, would you have also absconded or refused to attend to the sermon because you were there?
I think they're taking Kenyans as fools, because someone who understands how courts operate, courts normally start at 9. You can literally walk in and leave by 9:10, especially for someone with his status.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of appearing in court and asking court. Even me as a junior lawyer, at times seniors appear before court and request to be heard before the others so that they leave for another duty. It's common. I'm assuming he's being represented by a senior person.
Course.
It's just a matter of explaining to court, Your Lordship, Your Honor, we have my client has another duty to attend to, which is a national duty. We just pray for him to be heard first.
Of course.
Probably the first 10 or 20 minutes, give a report of why those people are missing, if he's aware or not. Such a simple thing of 10 to 20 minutes.
But why, if we look at it in retrospect, why exactly do you think he is not he's not responding to the summons? Could there be a reason? Could there be something? Could there be something that would make him not want to go? It could be maybe that the reason is. It could be maybe that the reason is viable or the reason is serious. Maybe there's something we are not seeing as the common mwananchi. Could there be a reason? Maybe ni kuogopa. I don't know. Could there be a reason why he doesn't want to show up in court?
In all fairness, I've tried to put myself in the shoes of a layman or to think like our Nairobi women rep, just to try and find something to probably explain why he's not coming to court. And I can't seem to find a better answer unless assuming that there's something he's hiding. Probably he does not want to take oath before the court to say a specific thing because he knows, it is assumed that he then knows where these people are. Because if you don't have anything to hide, you're not aware of such abductions. It's just a matter of appearing in court, saying, because these people are arrested in the middle of a public place. It's just saying that I'm not aware of such abductions, or these people who abducted these people are not police officers. Such a simple answer. If you are clear about what you're going to say. Or it's just a matter of saying these people were not abducted. These people are taken to a police station. They ought to be arrested. They have not been arrested. Then legal action will be taken against the police officers. That's the right thing. The police officers who ought to have taken them to court. I believe I can do that job very well, assuming that he gives me that power. But noting that he cannot appear before the court, it means there's something he's hiding. He knows where these people are or where these people were taken. That's a simple assumption.
And perhaps I will just ask what everyone else would ask. Where is his lawyer to just advise him that? I think, unless I don't know the work of an advocate, but when you have an advocate, he should just tell you something as simple as that. Just come to the court, don't say a word, I will speak on your behalf. So is that not how it works? That
should be the case. But I think in the mix of the mandamanos, you saw a quote that in this government, there is a race against incompetency. Everyone is winning in this scenario. Then the advisors are being advised on how to operate. So even as an advocate, I'm scared if they give me the brief, I'll be advised on how to speak in court instead of me advising the IG of how to behave. So these people are ready to act like goons. I don't believe they're ready to take any advice, even for a senior advocate to advise them. Or in the alternative, also the people who are advising them are just puppets. Because a good advice, I can tell you, like in the case of, I remember the AG Githu Muigai, who was a very strong advocate, and also the AG, he used to tell people live how things should operate. I think in this case, even the AG is a bit incompetent in advising government on how to operate, because it should be very clear. These are the laws, follow them in this line and this line, very simple, appear in court, or else contempt orders will be issued against you.
And that is where I wanted us to even land the contempt of court. The acting AG, Masengeli, was found guilty of contempt of court. Now, maybe in a nutshell, please help us understand what that term contempt of court or court contempt means.
Okay, so contempt of court is a bit wide. But basically, contempt means not following the rules of the court. The rules are different. For example, I can walk into court while my phone is playing music. I forget to switch off my phone, then it rings. I can be summoned for contempt. Or court has issued an order for something to happen. Court has summoned me. I refuse to go. That's contempt. So for every rule or order that the court gives, if you fail to adhere to it, it's called contempt of court. And I think almost all these politicians have contempt orders against them, but it doesn't go anywhere.
How serious is a contempt of court mistake or the contempt of court? How serious is it?
Court has the discretion to issue fines and also penalties in case of a contempt. And in this case where it's coming up for sentencing, I'm actually hoping that there's an imprisonment coming or a serious fine to that case, because this man is a culprit. For a few days he has been acting, let me say days. First of all, you have to look at his credentials. He's a certified fraud examiner, but I think by himself he's also a fraud.
I know.
Yes, from the name, I think from the course he's done, he has learned to do the opposite.
Yeah.
This is not the first case. In the Jimmy Wanjigi case of the break-in, they were specifically sued for the recovery of the money and everything that was lost. Around 8.5 million shillings, I believe. The IG, the acting IG, together with the DCI, were also summoned and given orders, which they have never complied with up to this date. Till date, they have not. So this is someone, we will call him a repeat offender. This is someone who is basically not ready to follow what the court is saying. Yes. So in this case, I'm expecting a very high penalty.
Even if they sentence him to prison, who will arrest him? Who will go for him?
That is the biggest issue. As I indicated, it's expected that the police will now do their job, but we don't expect that, knowing the quality of our police officers.
The person you salute to.
It's very hard, because even you're risking your job, because you might try to remove the cuffs and immediately you don't receive your salary. You cannot see your payslip number anymore. Probably you just try to log in, look at the government portal.
Your name is not there.
You no longer exist in the government system. So it's a risk police officers can take. Unless there's a political game they want to play and also remove him, the government can use that. You know, now he's in the hands of the government people, because they can use that to actually remove him. So he has to play ball to what the government is saying, or the government is telling him. So we have a very big problem. But it is also important to note that the Constitution, people have been saying this, the power belongs to the people. Now it's a song. We can choose to do a people's arrest.
How is that?
If you find a IG anywhere, acting IG, you can arrest him. But the problem is, how will you do it? But the Constitution also allows us to do a citizen arrest, because this is someone who is needed in court. Actually, if I find him and I have the capability, I should be able to take him and present him before the nearest court.
How do you do that? Do you just take him, like, literally?
I know the difficulty, and also with the less powers that I have, but if I had the power and the man force, that's the right thing to do.
So it's allowed? Like, if today I know you are wanted in court, I can't take you personally to court?
Specifically in the clause it's not, but if we look at the general provisions, we can construe from the Constitution that it is possible. Yes, but attempting it is the problem.
Yes. And the kind of security he is given, how do you even get to him?
That's the worry. And you can also be abducted the next minute after the arrest.
Oh yeah.
Because you see the claim is against abduction, but also trying to take will get you missing. You can be abducted.
What happens if, when he is before the court, he is found guilty, he is arrested, what happens then? What happens to that position? Does now the DG come in now again as the acting? Do you have another acting, or do you wait for him to come back and then he just continues with his act?
Actually, right now that there are orders, he's already been found guilty for contempt. The right thing to do for him is to either step down, or a person files a suit for him to be declared unfit to hold public office. Because he's actually unfit for simple things like not appearing in court he should be declared unfit to hold public office, both elective or appointive. Yes, so he should not be targeting any post right now, even for the IG being confirmed as the IG should be a problem to him. But I saw something, I believe he'll be appointed soon, because I saw something on incompetency in one of the radio stations explaining that one of the retired police officers, who is actually 63, has been appointed to a position, illegally, because normally the retirement age is 60.
Yeah.
But I believe if it's not Kanja or somebody has been appointed and the parliament approved. So I'm sure also for this one, it will be an easy approval. But I am waiting for, I saw lawyers and also other practitioners indicating that they intend to file a suit to confirm that the IG is unfit to hold public office. I'm waiting for that case, and I will be very glad to participate in it, just to see what court will order.
But even if the court orders, yes, it is true, he is unfit to hold office. If these people so bad, they've not been following court orders, the court might order he's unfit and still he gets the appointment. What happens then?
I think that one will turn to chaos. We're turning to a chaotic country. It might happen. It's true. Actually, in terms of probability, that is what will happen. But we just want to challenge the jurisprudence and also create a precedence that there ought to be certain declarations, so that even if the next person comes, probably in the next government, I'm not expecting much from this government to even follow laws. We're just imagining a better president or a better government comes. They should be able to look at that jurisprudence or the precedent set by court, so that if something similar to that happens, or if an IG comes to the office, he's able to look at that law and say, if I miss this summons, I might be declared unfit to hold public office. So it's proper, even if it won't happen in this government, it's good for the jurisprudence of Kenya, and also just to put a very clear precedence in matters of operation of police officers. Because I can tell you, if you are summoned today in court, Chibalonzo, right now, court summons you tomorrow, court can even issue, leave alone the issue of the IG, he was given time. Court can give you summons, 3 summons that are consecutive summons. If you miss them, right now, I'll be seeing you from the windows of Langata Women's. So it should not only apply to the common range. Let there be precedent that this thing can happen to any person, no matter the status. It is not a discriminatory order that should only be given to people of low status.
Maybe a very shallow question. Is the DCI under the IG? Or is it separate on its own? Does it work separately?
The DCI is an institution under different category, led by its own, I believe it's Mohammed at the moment, I'm not sure, because we are changing a lot of things in Kenya. I might be appointed soon, just hoping. But there's someone who's heading the DCI separately from the IG. Yes.
Because I'm thinking, if the DCI is separate and DCI officers have been seen arresting people, can't they arrest the IG, the DCI officers?
The DCI, okay, I won't speak to that with confidence, but because I don't understand properly the procedure. I'm not quite familiar with the procedure of the police officers, but I believe that it's not upon the DCI but the deputy IG to do such, based on the precedence that was created in the other contempt issued by the former IG. So I believe the procedure, yes, the procedure should be the deputy IG. But now noting that it's also claimed that it's the DCI officers that took, I believe the IG is the overall general. We should be able to explain. And also the back stops with also the minister. Because it was stated by, if you can look at the last article and also the statement by the senior Nasir, he said that no abduction can be done in Kenya, which I support. No abduction can be done in Kenya without the minister, a serious abduction. You can abduct me by police officers from Makongeni, but a serious person in Kenya cannot be abducted without the knowledge of the cabinet secretary to that specific ministry. So also questions should be asked to Kindiki. What is happening in the Ministry of Interior?
And
What is
besides, he was
happening?
still the CS then.
Yes.
He has always been the CS.
Yes. What was happening at that specific time, and who sanctioned all this?
Well, I think he was asked the same thing. He said that his powers are limited and there are things that the IG can do without him because he is an entity on his own. I remember the discussion. I think he was on one of the media stations, and like 90% of the questions that he answered was, it's beyond me, it's not within my power, oh, I had delegated, oh, I had done this. He's quite a smart person.
I think those are evasive tactics.
Very evasive.
And he's also a lawyer. Ironically, he's
evasive by nature.
He was a constitution and human rights lawyer and a very serious lecturer. So he understands what ought to be done, what needs to be followed. Article 49, very clear. When you arrest a person, you should have these people should have appeared in court. Let me tell you, Kenyans are evasive. Our leaders are evasive and using the issue of independent offices when it suits them. But when they want to issue directions, they will stand before a podium and indicate that I have directed the IG to do this. So what, in this case where we need to ask pertinent questions, what is the difference between this case and what you give during pressers?
Yeah.
We have seen the IG in Meru giving directions in the rooftop of a car when they have opened the what is called the sunroof. We have seen him giving directives to the police officers. So in this case, what is different?
I don't know. Kenya, so help us God. I do hope. Masengeli's sentencing is tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow is Thursday, right?
Tomorrow is Thursday.
So his sentencing will be on Friday, and we do hope. I don't know. I don't even know if he'll act on his sentence. Okay, can you sentence someone who's not in court?
The court can issue orders.
Even when you're
he's not there, because we don't expect him to even appear.
So I can say Masengeli, having been found guilty, is to spend 3 years in prison, for instance. Hope so help us God. I can order that while he's not there.
It can be ordered because you don't expect someone who has contempt of court of not appearing to eventually appear during the sentence. But the proper procedure should be that when you are issuing a sentence, the person is in court.
Yeah.
But in such unique situations, we cannot state that the law it cannot issue an order just because someone is not present. Yes.
If they order that, sasa will the prison wardens go for him wherever he'll be, ama yeye mwenyewe atajipeleka Kamiti?
We expect him to be arrested anywhere. Anywhere, but we expect that. But we are sure it won't happen. But we're just hopeful that it happens.
Nice. Guys, if you want to make it in life, make sure you're an IG. It's the only way. It's the only way. Anyhow, I was still speaking about our beloved country. So we had a strike today. I'm sure, Akili, you saw it. The go slow started as a go slow and then all blown out strike. I think it started yesterday around 10 p.m. thereabout when the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport workers decided to go slow because apparently the government wants to lease out the airport to an Indian firm for 30 years. First and foremost, is that right? Is it okay to lease out government, to lease out what we think or believe to be government property?
Yes, it can happen. Many countries have done that, even leasing of public land. It's something that happens.
So what is wrong
many
with
countries?
What is wrong with the airport one?
So the questions people are asking is the issue of disclosure. The government, first of all, the government is skeptical on releasing the agreement. What we're seeing in social media, just papers claiming that this is the agreement. So when something like that happens, the deal seems a bit too fishy. Because if the deal was beneficial to Kenyans, it will be very easy for the government to even indicate, look at clause 1, this is what will benefit you. Look at clause 2. But when you're telling us that the deal is secretive and it should be put in a certain vault only to be discussed by senior leaders of government, then it raises question. What are they hiding? And that's what the biggest question people are asking. Then you cannot tell us only 14 people are negotiating such an agreement, where we are ought to be bound as how many millions of Kenyans are going to be bound by such an agreement? Because I have not used JKA right now properly, but I intend to start using it starting next year. So I need to know when I'm using it, who owns this property and where is my profit when I'm using it? Where is the money going to? I'm entitled to know such things. So such information should be given proper disclosure. Simple thing, article of the Constitution, right to information, we have not been given such a right. Yes.
So, currently, if you're watching this and maybe you don't know, what the government is saying is this will benefit Kenyans because it's a 30-year plan that will have JKIA at the end of the 30 years will have a new runway, and the state of JKIA will have been improved to a more modernized airport than it is currently. And someone might be asking, what is wrong with that? And as Wakili had said, there seems to be other issues that have not been brought to the table. My question would be, maybe also to you, Wakili, how bad can things get if we don't get to know what exactly is going on?
Actually, the biggest risk and the worst thing that can happen is that we might be selling our good airport for good. It might seem like a 30-year lease, but we've seen claims that there is an equity. After the 30 years, there's an equity given to the people of Adani Group, so that they'll be enjoying profits even after the 30 years. So they have some stake to it. So it might seem nice in terms of construction, they're building something new, but the gain they're getting from it will, people ask me, it will be better to do a P&P, private-public partnership, where it seems like it's better to take a loan for it, something we can repay within a reasonable time, and our generation will enjoy it as our own, rather than telling us that people are coming to invest on something, a runway, which I believe if we just seal some few loopholes of corruption, probably catch some few people and also do some searches in the houses, cut some mattresses, we might find enough money to build this thing. So even if you're trying to tell us this thing is too sweet, you need to explain to us, how is it benefiting us? For how long?
Are we that poor?
And I don't believe we are that poor to even allow a certain, this is Adani Group. This is a company. So we are saying that we are also too poor that we need this company to build actually a runway and a shed.
And it's one runway, it's not
and also improve the status of the airport to a certain level that we now be enjoying it in a very good way. It's something quite ironic. But even if, assuming it has been done, private deals have been done, which have been beneficial to countries, but it's something that needs proper disclosure. Tell people this is what you're benefiting from.
What is wrong with selling JKIA?
These are basic government, let me call them the important resources of the government, because there's a way you can control them. Imagining that these people one of the companies that own the most parcels of land, it's one of the biggest parcels of land. If you give it to a company, they run it the way they want. These are people who can take over the country at any point in time. That's our main airport. If there's no proper contract stating how these people are going to run this thing, if these people decide to even close the airport for a day, imagine the chaos. You cannot land in, it's a major international airport. You cannot land in or go out. So basically, I can tell you, elections might be decided by a simple group who decided that how these things, this is how we're operating. Will not allow anyone affiliated to these people to land in this airport. Such simple things. Most countries protect their main resources because of the influence the third parties and also the outsiders can have within the country. Ports, airports, those are very critical resources that it is important that the government runs them solely. Or if they're bringing in a partner, there needs to be disclosure on their limit and what they can do. Those are the things people are asking. Show us the much these people can do and their limits to what they can do.
We have already seen what Kenya is going to gain from this Adani group, according to what the government has said. But what does Adani stand to gain? What does Adani want that they're going to get from this deal between their group and our government?
First of all, you must know that Adani Group is not an NGO. They are not here as a non-profit governmental organization.
Well, no,
they are here to make money. So it means before they even bidded or before they were called, I believe they didn't even bid. Probably a few calls and they decided we need that thing. Or probably they funded someone during the presidential campaign. It happens. So one of the buybacks was to get the airport. I'm assuming it happens in a lot of countries. So these people are not here to help us in terms of an NGO, to build us. They are here to make profits. So they have calculated that we're going to make money in this deal. That's the first thing that they have seen from our airport. It means actually we have the potential of being very profitable.
Yes.
For them to even identify it. So they are here to make good money. Now, I can tell you for sure, if profit is not properly disclosed, they can actually take the airport even for 10 years and make their profit. We can accept it if the deal is too good because we have also gained. But we do not know the exact amount of money or even an approximate of what they intend to make. 30 years is a lot. You can make a lot of money through the 30 years deal and also get an equity from that deal. We believe that's too much. And also they have indicated, it is rumored that they have indicated that after 2 years all the employees should actually, their contracts should be renewed on performance basis. We don't know who these people are going to employ. Probably it's not Kenyans. They will not dictate who they are employing. They might decide to even restaff or reduce even the staffing of the people at the airport. So it's quite an unclear deal. We need clarity. It's like the expressway scam or the SGR scam that has been happening. So Kenyans need to come out in large numbers and put a stop to all these deals. Let things be clear before you even sign off. Or personally, these people who held the negotiations should pay for that amount of money. Yes.
Well, apparently, that is the end of today's show. I know time has just gone by. We were supposed to get into lands, and that, I think we're going to do that next. Are you free next Tuesday? We will come back next Tuesday. Next Wednesday, sorry, and just dive on lands. We were supposed to start it with this Adani case and then just go all lands. There's so much to talk about lands. And if you have questions also, you can bring them forth, but that is all the time we had for today. Perhaps you can bid your goodbyes.
So thank you for the show, actually. I think it's been nice speaking without speaking to a specific thing and quoting the laws. It's also important to also educate people what's happening. So I believe Kenyans should also be aware. Self-awareness is good of what is happening in Kenya. Watch the news, know what is happening. If it's time to come out in numbers on Friday to support the jailing or the imprisonment or the fining of our serious IG, come out in numbers and do that. If it's opposing the Adani group, if you believe there is no proper disclosure, come out in numbers and do that. Yes, that's my parting shot.
Thank you very much, Haza. You are always a blessing to this show. God bless you so much. Okay, that marks the end, and I will just repeat what we have already spoke spoken or what we've really talked about in the show. Number one, we started the show, we were talking about the rest of IG Masengeli. Please look out for that. I think ABN will be featuring that live here. The proceedings will be live here. So please, on Friday, watch tuketi tuone. And then maybe we'll do a recap on it on Wednesday again, kidogo, before we even start the show. Number two, when it comes to your country, love it with everything you have, because not everybody else loves it. And I asked this question to Akili, and I will ask it again to whoever is listening or watching. How poor are we that we want to sell our country, and how greedy are we that would rather take the few coins that we'll get from the Adani group or from foreign investors and sell our own prized possession, because the investors see the price that is in what we have. No Indian, I know Indians to be the best business people out there, but no Indian will invest in a sinking ship. So if an Indian is willing to risk his life and his money and to come and take hold of JKIA, how much is JKIA making that they cannot afford to take care of the runway, to take care of the digitization systems, to take care of its workers? Think about it and let me know the answer. My name is Consolata Chibalonza. Thank you very much, Mika, for the cameras. Thank you very much, Mosese, for ensuring that we're on air and we're looking good for the lower thirds and everything. May God bless you to all of us. Let us all have a good night, and until next time, God bless.